Hey guys, Eric Sue here. Welcome back to another episode of Next Gen MLM Hacks Radio. This is going to be a very powerful one, so stay tuned. So the real issue is this: how do regular folks like us, who did not cheat and only nag family members and friends who want to grow a residual income stream, how do we attract quality leaders into our organization and create profitable home businesses, yet still have plenty of time to enjoy life? That's the screaming question, and this podcast will give you the answer. My name is Eric Sue, and welcome to Next Gen MLM Hacks Radio. Before I begin this episode is sponsored by Next Gen MLM Hacks, and it is a webinar I do that teaches network marketers and entrepreneurs how to get more customers and grow their MLM business. It happens once a week, so go ahead and register at www.nextgenmlmhacks.com. All right, you guys, welcome back. I want to do this episode today because I've been working on my story, and I've been listening to some other podcasters talking about this topic, and I just wanted to share with you what I learned. And so a story is basically something that describes who you are. It also invokes emotion, and it gets people connected with you or whatever you're talking about, right? And so as you know, that on a fundamental level, that is the idea behind a story. And you know, how can we use it to help with our network marketing business, right? And so I wanted to dive into a little bit about what I've been, I guess, learning, but also what I've been noticing when I do create my story. Okay, so recently I've been creating new offers, and as you know, offers are the key to helping you stand out and helping you share your products and services, right? So in the process of creating my story, it makes me think a little bit more than just coming up with some thoughts, right? And so crafting your story has several elements, right? The first thing is it something that is relatable? So the story that I came up with was about how I got started, and when I start talking, or at least thinking about my story, I want to bring people in to what my start was like, right? So basically, what we want to be able to do is talk about the story in a manner so that people can understand how we felt, what we were going through. And so imagine your situation. Have you been in a desperate situation? Were you in a point in your life that things had to change, right? And so begin your story that way, or discuss a little bit about that time in your life, and so that you bring people in, right? And so can you imagine someone's story where it was pretty much all, glory, if you will? There's not much to that type of story, right? You're not engaged. You're a little bit sort of like, that's great for him or her, but what about you, right? And so crafting your story so that it actually engages people, brings people in, makes you look human, vulnerable is a good word too. It would be the way I would go about creating that story, right? And so I would talk about where I was prior to starting my network marketing business. I would talk about the situation I was in, how I was feeling, and then go from there as to what exactly happened, right? And there's an example of some people who they wanted to connect with their audience better, and in the effort of doing that, they would actually become one of them, right? And it could be any situation, right? And so becoming one of them to fully understand where this person was coming from. And then from that point, achieving the goals that these people want, right? Can you imagine that, right? So it could be any situation. If it's a health and wellness situation, for example, you could say that as a normal sized person, you decided to get obese just to see and feel how it is, right? And then turning that around again and using methods and training a certain way to become fit or normal again, right? And so that journey right there is pretty interesting. And it if you think about it, you're more, I guess, attracted to this person because now you know that this person really understands who you are and what you're going through. So right there, that story of going from normal to overweight back to normal would be a very interesting story that you could share with others so that you can attract them and open their eyes to you so that they don't feel like you're just another guy trying to quote unquote sell something, right? So what is your story? I'm going to challenge you guys to look back at what you've gone through and talk about how you've come through those times. So, or how you are making things better, right? And so what are you doing to attract people through this story is really the key. Now, I'm wanting to make sure that it is important to have the story, but also how are you going to use the story is the other side of the equation, I think, right? It's great that you created a story, but the other side of it is you have to tell people about it, right? Then how are you going to do that? Will you do it through video? Will you do it through a blog? I think nowadays, most people, it would be really good to do it via video. Why? So that people can actually see who you are, right? And that's another level of attractive character, if you will, attractiveness, so that you're going to be real and human about it, right? So definitely share, create it on video. Take a tripod, set up your iPhone, and just go ahead and talk to the camera and share that story with people. From that point forward, once you have that, you could use any platform that you feel comfortable with to let people know about it. I personally would put it in a sales funnel and put that in a way to capture leads, because using that story, you could perhaps promote something along with it, right? And that goes into offer creation or selling something free so that you could perhaps help others, right? So you may have gone through this journey, and by going through this journey, you know how your story, how people can get more information from you, and you could promote a ebook, you can promote something, and that is a really good way to earn something from what you've created, right? So just a small piece in getting people to see who you are, what you do, and how you can help them, right? And so it all begins with that story, though. Without that story, again, like I said, there really is nothing about you per se that people will be attracted to. So crafting that story is going to be the key, and take some time with it, right? Does that story hit any points with that person that you're speaking to, right? Knowing who you want to speak to is the other side of the equation too. Who's your audience, right? And all right, so I am going around and around, I think, a little bit, but I think you get the point of how you can take that story and use that story to attract new customers to you, right? But it all begins with knowing what elements in the story to put into it so that it is effective. And so get on there, type it out, write it out, whatever you need to do. Have someone read it, and it's going to make an impact for sure. And so what is your story is the main question. All right, so I love to read some of your stories. If you want, you can connect with me at nextgenmlmhacks.com. You can find my contact information there, and love to hear those stories. I'm also on Facebook as well, www.facebook.com/Eric W. Sue, and you can message me as well. All right, so hope you guys enjoyed this one, and we'll talk to you guys again soon. Bye. Hey, thanks for listening. Please remember to subscribe and leave feedback for me. Do you have a question that you want answered live on the show? Go to nextgenmlmhacksradio.com to submit your question and download your free Next Gen MLM Masters Pack.